I just clip the thread, and I'm just going to set those off on the side. So you're going to need 36 pop tops. You want the tabs going in one direction. So now holding that tail, because I want to crochet around it, I'm going to go inside and I'm going to put 2 single crochets into that tail. So that's going to give me 2. Okay, and what we're going to actually be doing is 2 rows at the same time. So you're going to open up one tab, and remember they're all facing the same way. Put one on the outside and put one on the inside. Crochet through all 4 holes. Whoops. Do 2 single crochets inside that, and then you stretch those 2 out and you move to the next 2. So you grab another one on the outside like that, and another one on the inside. Make sure all your tabs are going in the same direction, and make sure you're putting them face down, right sides down. You're sandwiching them in between. I'm going to do these 2 and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so when you flip these over on the inside, this is pretty much what you're getting. So you're getting 2 rows side by side, and you're going to make it 36 inches long. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first, and I'll show you how to make the other rows. And then the last 2, you're going to do 2 single crochets in them also. And then you're going to chain 2, and that's going to get you to your next row. So when you open these out, I want to show you what you got. So now you have your row, and what will happen is this will end up going around the bag like this. So now that's row 1, and we need 2 more rows. So since we've already pretty much got them situated where we are, I'm not going to count them now, but I'm going to show you how we go next. So now we turned our work. Make sure your tabs are facing the same direction. Lay the 2 on top of each other, and you're going to go ahead and do the 2 single crochets in the first 2. Okay, and then now you have 3 holes on top, so you grab another one, right sides facing up, and now you're going to crochet. Let me put my hook in there. So you put the hook in, you got 2, there's 3, then you add a 4th one, and then you crochet around it, and that gives you your 4 holes to crochet through. Now again, line the 3 up, add another one on, and single crochet twice inside the hole. Now what you're doing now is you're working on the back side, and you'll continue this process all the way down until you finish the row. So now I just put the last one of the 36. So now I'm going to do 2 single crochets in the end of this, and I'm going to open this one up, and again chain 2, because you're going to go now in the opposite direction. But let's open these out and see. So now this is 3 rows of tabs. So this is about 2 inches. So you make it however wide you want it around your purse. So I'm going to add 1 more row. So this was my final row, and I've already done a chain 2 space. Okay, so, and the reason we do the chain 2 is to get us up to the next row, and we're flipping work. So now we're going to crochet all the way around it. But before we crochet around it, we're going to join it with our bag. We know we have 36 of these. So now what you want to do is we want to bring one side, one piece of your front or back of the bag, and I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook, and I'm going to lay the bag down on top of the crochet. Is we're going to still do our 2 single crochets, but we got these right sides together, and I'm going to start right here where I finished off that last, where I tore the tail off. So now you're going to do a single crochet inside of the loop, and like I said, this is right sides together, and everywhere there's a loop, you're going to skip 1, and then you're going to crochet in the 2 loops together. Okay, and I'm going to do that again, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, again, you're skipping 1, and it almost forces you to skip 1, because as you can see, the 1 actually lines up with over here, but the 2 lines up with them double. So I like to skip 1, put my hook in, and line them up together, and then do the 2 single crochets. So by doing that, now you're connecting this tab all the way around, and you see when you flip it on the outside, this is the results that you're getting. I'm going to flip it on the wrong side. I'm not going to cut the yarn. I'm going to keep it going. Do my chain 2, and then I'm going to do a couple of single crochets in each of the top hole of the pop top, and this is going to get me around to that back side. So here I'll do 2 more here. Okay, now because you did 2 at the top, you still have to do the 2 in the side. To make sure I match this up is I like to pin the top portion so that one side is not too long or it's not matching up on one side. So this is where we're going to start our first 2 stitches, going into that single crochet and into the hole of the tab, and doing 2 single crochets in that tab. Remember, we're skipping 1 and we're doing 2 single crochets in the next tab, grabbing 2 tabs. And you're just going to repeat the same thing you did on this side as you did on the other side. Skip 1 and go into the 2 holes of the tab. I'm going to leave the thread for right now because that's where we're going to connect the strap. So I'm back around down to the very last one. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 2 single crochets inside that one also. And also to match that side with this side, I'm going to go ahead and do my 2 single crochets into the side of the tab. And then I'm just going to whip stitch into the corner of that first tab, slip stitch, and then, but I'll go ahead and cut it for now because we got to stabilize the opening of the bag. Let's go ahead and turn it. Try not to break your CD while you're turning it. So I would turn one CD at a time so you don't break it, and then turn the other one. So now as you see, it's looking really pretty. So now we're going to work on this upper section. So we're going to put the tabs across here to make it firm. So now we're going to grab our yarn again, and we're going to tie a slip knot. And we're going to come into the side right here where we join this one. We're going to come into the side. And now I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to take a pop tab. We're going to put it with the right side facing down. And you're going to do 2 single crochets in each of those little the little openings of the pop top. Grab the next pop top, lay it on top, and we're going to do the same thing. You're skipping stitches, so whenever we're sewing the pop top, we skip the stitches because we don't need the extra space. So 2 pop tops there, and you're going to sew the pop tops all the way across, overlapping them just like that. And what this is going to do, this is going to stabilize the opening of the bag. And you'll repeat this all the way across on both sides. Okay, I ended up putting 14 on here. And that last hole, I'm going to connect into that first tab because I don't want this to stretch. So I'm going to connect that into that tab. I'm going to slip stitch into the middle hole of the pop top and just slip stitch through that. And then turn it around, and this time I'm going to do 2 single crochets in each of the tabs coming around. You're working 2 single crochets in each of the tabs, and you're working in double tabs. So I'm going to go ahead and work those all the way around to the other side. So now I'm back over to the other side, and I hope you can see this, but we need to connect this tab to that first tab over here that's in the side. I'm going to go in 1 time to do a slip stitch. Do 1 single crochet in the hole. Then I'm going to go into the hole of the first pop top and slip stitch that together. Now what I'm going to do, because I don't want to change my thread this time, so I'm going to slip stitch a couple of times into each of the tabs until I get to the other side. So I'm doing two single, not slip stitch, excuse me, 2 single crochets in each of the tabs till I get to the other side. So now you're gonna be working from the inside, but you still gotta do the right sides together with the tabs. So you gotta watch for your holes. Go into the hole in the side, slip stitch in the hole to keep that in place. Now you're gonna pull it over to keep it tight. I'm going to do a single crochet in the first chain and into the first hole of the tab. And we're going to do 2 single crochets. Okay, now we're going to grab our next tab, make sure they're lined up correctly. And remember again, you're skipping stitches. So skip, go into those 2, and continue to crochet. And you'll repeat this process all the way around till you meet back to the other side. So again, I'm at the last one, so I'm going to skip my 2 stitches, go in and do a 2 single crochets in that hole. And then to lock these in, I'm going to do a slip stitch into the first of the chains, and then I'm going to do a single crochet, 2 single crochets in each one, because there's 3 of them. And then when I get back to the first one, because I didn't lock that one in to the other side, I'm going to now lock these in. So I'm going to do a slip stitch into that, and then slip stitch into the top and bring them together. And then I'm going to chain 2. And then I'm going to turn the work, because now we have to do the top half. Chain 1, go into the first one, do the 2 single crochets in there. Okay, so I just finished the top on the last side, and I did the 2 single crochets here. So now we're going to lock this in to the tab on the outside of the side. Go in, and we're going to do a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 1 and 2. Okay, so now we're ready to attach the strap. So what we're going to do is you're going to go over and you're going to do a single crochet into one of the tabs, and then do a single crochet into the second tab, and then do a single crochet into the third tab. Single crochet into the top of the tab. So now you want to go back, and same thing, this time you're going to do a single crochet into each of the single crochets that you just did. And what you're doing is you're building, and then slip stitch into that. You're building up the side to match up to the band. Okay, so now to do the strap, do as many as you think you need for your strap. And now you want the tabs on the right side. So you got to determine which direction you want the tabs to go. Whichever direction you decide, that's the way the tabs got to go all the way. We're over here on the end, and we want this strap to be right smack in the middle of this tab. So you're going to put the tab face down, and you're going to line it up in the middle because you want it kind of centered. We're going to put 4 single crochets into this tab that we're overlapping. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm crocheting on top of the other tab. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3, and that's 4. Okay, and then we're going to lift the tab up like this. See, now that gives you more of a stability to hold on to. So now what you want to do is don't do any change, just go into that same loop, but now you're on the outside. Do 2 single crochets, and then put your tab down on top, and then you do 2 single crochets in each of the tabs doubled over. And this is going to give you your strap all the way across. So you'll keep doing this until you get to the end of the 70 tabs, or however many tabs you use for your strap. I'm using 70. Okay, so I'm down to my last tab. I only did 60. So you want to just do as many as you think is going to work. So now I'm on the last one. I'm doing 2 single crochets in that one. So now making sure that you don't twist your strap. So you're going to repeat the same thing, because we already done the 2 on the side. You're going to do, or in the center tab, you're going to do 2 double crochets. Actually, you're going to do 4. You're going to do 2 and 2, and that's going to help to anchor it so it doesn't kind of pull away from you. Now what you want to do, go on the other side and do the 2 single crochets in each of the sides of the straps. You do this all the way over until you get to the other side. So now that I'm back around to the other side, you see I still have one more tab to do, and that's the side of this one. Even though you locked it in at the end, you still need to do the sides. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 2 single crochets on the side, and then we're going to lock these in. Now you want to go into that first tab. You want to do a single crochet into that first tab. Make sure your yarn is nice and tight and not loose, so when you pull it through it stays tight and it doesn't do any excess pulling. And then you're going to do a single crochet in each of the stitches across the top of the purse. And you're going to do this all the way across. And it's kind of hard to see it, but go into that very first stitch of that first tab. And now you need to lock this one in as well. So now remember, you have a tab on either side of the strap. So you're going to go into this tab and do a single crochet, and then you're going to go into the tab of the base of the strap. Now you want to work this strap in. So you're going to go into the last, in the hole, the entire hole of the tab, of the last tab, single crochet, and then you're going to go into the first hole of the next tab that's in the side, single crochet, and then you're going to lock in that first tab, lock it in. You're going to crochet between both of those and lock that in as well, and it's just giving you a little bit more stability. And now you're just going to crochet, single crochet into the next stitch, and then now you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go into the hole, and you're going to go into the second hole, and you're going to do a single crochet to bring those two together also. And then you're going to go into the first hole of the next one and do a single crochet as well. Then you're going to go into the top stitch where we did the single crochet, go into the top stitch, and then single crochet all the way across inside each of those single crochets. So now we're back around, and put your needle into the last loop on the top, as well as the first loop or the outside loop of the side, and you're going to do a single crochet around those, and that kind of locks everything in. Single crochet in the top, and single crochet in the top again, and then you're going to go into the center of the strap, and you're going to go in the center of the next stitch or the next tab on the bottom and do a single crochet, and then you're going to go into the outside loop and the outside of the top of the tab and pull through both of those to lock them in together. And then you're going to slip stitch into the top of the next chain, and then you're done. So now what I like to do is cut a long tail, because now I want to do some hand sewing. I like to just pull this through one time. So now I'm going to take my needle, but this one's going to work just fine. So I'm going to insert the yarn into the needle and make sure you pull it through. So now I want to lock in the stitches so that they don't come undone, especially with it being at the top. Go back down in, come out from the inside, clip that thread. Here's our bag, and it kind of puffs out like this when you've got stuff in it, and when you don't, it looks really cute because it's recessed. So I hope this tip has been helpful, and I hope you try it. Happy crocheting!